What is tourism? Who are the tourists? Where do they come from and where are they going? Why is tourism important? And how do we manage tourism? These sound like simple questions, but they can be surprisingly difficult to answer. Let's start by hearing what tourists, industry workers and academics think.
Tourism really presents an amazing opportunity for us to present conservation to the world.
I travel a lot for business, so tourism for me is about the things that I get to do in a different place, somewhere around the world, around the time when I need to be working. So whether that's eating in a local restaurant, maybe having some time off to go and visit a local museum or some sort of architectural attraction that I'm interested in. And that's sort of, I need to fit that in around the times that I'm working. So that's what tourism is to me.
Tourism is important for Brisbane and for the state of Queensland and all of Australia because it delivers fantastic economic benefits to the city.
Tourism for me means more work and more interesting work, and it also means I'll get the chance to travel, see more places, and that'll expand my career as well.
Tourism means to me the opportunity to create a starting point for engagement with so many people across so many different parts of our community.
Tourism for me is really about broadening my understanding of the world. It's about exploring new places. It's about meeting new people and adding to this map that I have in my head of what the world looks like. It's also about stepping back from my life, getting a chance to relax, maybe a chance for adventure, doing things that I've never been able to do before, like snorkeling in the Great Barrier Reef, going to a local art museum, or even just learning about the history of the place.
Tourism is very important from a knowledge point of view and expanding your own horizons.
We can see that the way people define tourism depends very much on their own perspective. When most people think of tourism, they think about travel. Not all forms of travel involve tourism, but tourism always involves travel. According to the United Nations World Tourism Organization, tourism can be defined as the activities of people travelling to and staying in places outside their usual environment for not more than one consecutive year for leisure, business, or other purposes. Tourism is about much more than holidays and exotic destinations. To understand tourism, we also have to ask, who are the tourists? We can divide all travellers into two groups, visitors and other travellers such as commuters, migrants, diplomats and refugees. The UNWTO defines a tourist simply as a visitor who spends at least one night away from home. Visitors who spend less than a night away from home are called excursionists or day trippers. We can also differentiate between international tourists who cross international borders during their travels and domestic tourists, those who travel around their own country. When we think about travel, we often think about travel to exotic locations overseas. But for many destinations, domestic tourism is often more important than international tourism. In Queensland, domestic tourists account for around 3/4 of all tourism consumption. We can further organise tourists into leisure travellers, business travellers, and those who visit a place for other reasons, such as visiting friends and relatives, education and sport.
Where do these tourists come from and where do they go? We know from statistics collected by the United Nations World Tourism Organization that in 2016 the top 5 largest source markets in the world included China, the USA, Germany, the United Kingdom and France. This map shows international passenger flows. The line width indicates the volume of traffic between regions, while the dot size indicates the volume of traffic within a region. Not everyone travels by air, of course, but this graphic still highlights interesting patterns, particularly the large movements of travellers between North America, Europe and North Asia. We can also see that 4 out of 5 tourists worldwide are travelling within their own region. Where do all these tourists go? Most tourists go to European countries, but Asian destinations are becoming increasingly popular. In 2016, the top 5 destinations in the world included France, the United States, Spain, China, and Italy. Almost 30% of all international visitors went to these 5 countries in 2016.
Why is tourism important? Well, let's face it, most of us love going on holiday. Holidays take us to exotic locations, are fun and exciting, provide opportunities to rest and relax, and are the perfect way to spend time with friends and family. But tourism is so much more than that. Tourism is important because it influences the way we think, work and play. As you may have guessed already, tourism is huge. In fact, it's often called the world's largest industry. Unlike many other industries, tourism has grown almost every year since 1950 and shows no signs of slowing down. The UNWTO predicts that by 2030, international visitor arrivals will surpass 1.8 billion. But statistics on international visitor arrivals are just one part of the picture. Globally, it is estimated that there are between 5 and 6 billion domestic trips each year. Tourism generates and supports a vast network of jobs and industries. On average, tourism generates almost 10% of the world's gross domestic product, or GDP. This contribution sustains significant employment. 1 in 11 jobs worldwide can be linked directly or indirectly to tourism. And here in Queensland, 1 in every 10 jobs is attributable to tourism. In developing countries, tourism can make even higher contributions to GDP and employment. But tourism is also important for other reasons. Tourism can protect and restore sites of historic and/or cultural significance. Tourism can save endangered species and habitats. Tourism can also protect natural environments from more extractive industries. Tourism exposes people to different places, cultures and issues. Tourism fosters cross-cultural understanding, tolerance and peace. Tourism jobs can promote equity and equality. Providing for tourists improves facilities that also benefit host communities. This includes transport, restaurants and services. Income from tourism raises living standards and helps to alleviate poverty. These benefits highlight the importance of tourism. There are, however, many challenges and issues associated with tourism that need to be managed. For example, how do we manage the negative impacts of tourism and ensure that positive benefits are created? How can we use technology to facilitate travel and tourism? How can everyone with a stake in tourism work together to create a competitive destination? How do businesses design tourist experiences that are engaging, educational and rewarding? How can we attract, create and support a dedicated tourism workforce? How do we manage tourism and tourists during times of risk and crises? This MOOC addresses these issues by discussing the latest research, trends and management strategies in the areas of planning, risk management, experience design, customer service, workforce, technology and sustainability.